Hey guys, happy Saturday! Thanks so much for popping in here tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks, replay viewers, for watching. And thanks, YouTube viewers, for being here as well. YouTube viewers, if you'd like to participate in the chat live, you can join me on Periscope every night at 9:30 p.m. Central under Penguin and Fish. So hey guys, thanks for coming in. We're gonna do something a little different tonight. That'll be fun. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. Hey there, guys. Happy Saturday. Thanks so much for coming in. So we have been working on the Splendid Sampler quilt along, and we got done with block 48 a couple days ago. So we have one more day before the new block comes out. We get new blocks every Thursday and Sunday. So we have a free day today, and I thought we would try doing this kind of fun technique of making fabric out of scraps. So I've been saving all of my scraps from the Splendid Sampler. I got this huge baggie. This is literally just all the tiny scraps from my sewing machine. The scraps that are too small to use in blocks somewhere. It's just, you know, I've even saved all the little threads from the sewing machine. I don't know, if you guys are a lot like me, I know there's quilters out there who just can't part with any of the scraps. The fabric's just too pretty to throw it away, even in the tiniest amount. So I've been saving it, and this is the perfect thing to do with all these scraps. And then I'll be able to empty my baggie a little bit so I can fill it up with more scraps for the next blocks coming up. So this is what we're going to do tonight. Now this has an embroidery in, but we are going to make fabric from all of these scraps. And I think it's just going to be really fun. I think what I'm going to do is actually do a couple 6.5-inch squares of this fabric so I can include it in my Splendid Sampler quilt. This is actually a freebie this was one of the bonus freebies at the Splendid Sampler. So if you want this cute little Be Brave embroidery design, it's free at thesplendidsampler.com if you go into the blocks and free projects tab. So you can download that. I'm not going to do it here. I'm just going to fill it in with fabric. But you can do this too. You could do a design and then make your fabric around it too. It's easy and fun. So what we're going to use for this is our sticky Fabricelli embroidery stabilizer. So this acts like a sticker. I usually use it for embroidery because you can print your design right onto it and then stitch through it, and then it washes off in water. We're going to use it to make these blocks. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll just get started. It's super fun, a great way to use up the scraps. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery and a fabric designer, and I'm also one of the designers for the Splendid Sampler. I did block 11, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys tonight. And if you have any questions, let me know in the chat, and I will flip you guys around. Let me know how you're doing this weekend. All right. So this is how I'm gonna get started. I make my fabric on like a scrap base fabric. So this is just a little piece of muslin that I had, just some cheap muslin. There were some flaws in it, so I wasn't going to use it for anything, but you know, I can't throw it away, so I have it here. What we're basically going to do is lay down all our little scraps, kind of arrange them on our backing fabric, and then we are going to put a piece of the Fabricelli over the whole thing to kind of hold everything in place temporarily. Then we're going to just stitch the heck out of it. Like this one, you can see all of the stitched lines. This would actually be a great opportunity to practice your free motion design. I wish I would have thought of that earlier. I don't have my darning foot out here, but I'll have to try that again. But yeah, you can practice your free motion. And then when we're done, we're going to wash away the Fabricelli because the Fabricelli dissolves in water. And you can get Fabricelli on a roll from most big box craft stores, so it'll look like this. You have to look for the blue and the black, and make sure it says sticky Fabricelli or if you're using a different brand, make sure it sticks on and washes off in water. Those are the two things that you're looking for in a stabilizer. And then I also have the 8.5 by 11 printable sheets. I have, these are in my store if you want to look at that. So just check out Penguin and Fish if you're trying to find this size somewhere. Otherwise, like I said, at stores you can usually find it on the roll like this. But we're going to use some of this. So let's just get going. I'm going to start out by just drawing a guide on this backing fabric of the size of the block that I want. I'm going for a 6.5-inch block. So that's the size that we're using in the Splendid Sampler quilt along, and I want to make a block that I can use for that. I'll probably actually have enough scraps to make a whole pile of blocks, but we'll just do one tonight so I can show you the whole process. So I'm just drawing a square on it with a water erasable marking pen, but you can use whatever you like, just a pencil. It's going to get covered up. We just want it as a guide to lay out stuff. Oh, you're going to do this with the bee block. Oh, that's cool. So it's the exact same process. So in this case, you know, I would draw this square around the bee embroidery, so the bee would be like right in the middle, already embroidered. And then I would just lay out all my fabric around it. In this case, I'm just going to fill it in. But yeah, you can totally do, if you have an embroidery or any other applique or some other embellishment that you want to show off, you can still do all this kind of fun piecing around it. So, all right, here is my plastic bag of scraps. I'm going to just kind of grab a handful and see where we start. I'm a little tempted to kind of divide this into like blues and reds, but I think for this first one, we'll just plop stuff down. So what we're doing now is I'm just going to lay my scraps down. So you can just lay them however you want. I'm just being kind of random right now. You can be completely random, or you could make little designs. Like you could make like a circle with one color and the rest could be red or something. You know, it's really up to you. It's kind of an exercise in collage, really, if you want. And look, I have all these little thread scraps. I'm going to include those. The goal is to cover the background fabric and to make it pretty, however you want this to look. It's definitely going to be a crazy grouping of fabric, but if you're doing this for the Splendid Sampler, I mean, all your fabrics are going to be from your fabrics that you're using in the Splendid Sampler, because they're all the scraps from that. So no matter what, it's going to blend in with all your other blocks, and that's kind of the fun of it. What I'm doing is I'm kind of flipping it around, so most of the pattern sides are up instead of just tossing it all on there, because I want to see all my patterns. The background fabric, all I have for that is just a piece of muslin. You could use any scrap fabric. It's nothing special. This will have some thickness to it when you're done, but not necessarily more than, you know, your applique blocks or anything like that. Oh, yay! Yeah, no problem. I think this is going to be, it's just fun. It's just a fun little thing to play around with. Wow, look at all these tiny stringy ones. I'll get all those in there. Those are kind of fun. Like a little bird's nest of stuff. You know, maybe that'd be a fun design idea. You'd have a whole bird's nesty, tiny, teeny, tiny scraps, and then the scraps get bigger as you go down. I mean, you can really do whatever you want. We're just designing. And I'm looking at my outside line here, my 6.5-inch line. I want to make sure that I overlap it a little bit. You know what I mean? So we can cut it down when we're done to the 6.5. And I'm just really just plopping this down. I'm in general just you know, you want just one layer really, but if you do a bunch of layers like I'm doing, that's perfectly fine too. It'll just be a little thicker. That's a pretty big piece. This piece is big enough to go in my real scraps. I think I can probably use this in a block still. I'm going to set that one aside. I try to only put my super small scraps that I'm pretty sure I won't be using for anything. Some cute triangles. some of those up here. Whole pile of triangles. I mean, I could do a design with triangles here, really. I'm not doing any design, really. I'm just plopping stuff down. I kind of like the crazy look to it. Yeah. Oh, are you referring to this? This is a piece that is actually probably big enough to use. So I've been keeping my scraps separate. So I've been saving all my scraps. Blobs. So these are my real scraps. These are all the scraps. I'm going to add this to it. These are all the scraps that are probably big enough to use in a block somewhere. So I've been saving those separately from my scraps that are way too small. Way too small to go in anything. So I just got to get all the way around the edges here. Make sure that I'm overlapping. Look at this green one. Let's put that guy right there. I think I got fabric under there. So look, this looks like a crazy mess, but it's gonna be really fun when we're done. Like it's like a little collage. Oh, on the back of a denim jacket, that'd be totally fun. But yeah, so in theory, I'm just going to be using this as a block itself, so just the square. But you could actually cut this into shapes and use it as applique. You could do a whole pile of things with this when you're done with it. And I'm making mine pretty thick right now, so it's gonna have some heft to it, but I don't think there's any real problem with that. I'm just trying to kind of fill in the edges a little bit. Just getting over that line. And if you see a little bit of your background fabric, it's not going to be the end of the world either, because there's so much going on that a little fabric here and there is going to be just fine. Let's get some of these squiggles and we'll just pop them right down. Oh, totally! An embroidered bird nest with string bits in the nest. Oh, that would be so cute. Oh yeah, like this would be a cute applique of a bird's nest or something, you know? All the little string guys. Oh, look at this wacky piece. This could be on the side here. It's funny to go through these again. I got like some long, crazy shapes and then a whole pile of small ones. Oh, look, these are little tiny squares. Let's put another funny little square in there. What if we just put like a real square right in there? That'd be kind of a funny design thing. They're all wrinkled, but maybe I can flatten it out a little bit. All right, I think I have this little corner up here to cover, and then we're kind of done. So this is just, looks like a crazy mess, but that's kind of the fun of it. Let's get this funny design element down here. There, I have this funny line, this weird square, and the square repeats down there. I kind of like that. All right. I think that looks good, but oh man, I hardly used any of my scraps. Look at this bag. Hold on. Let me put all my excess in there. I got all this stuff on the edge. Look, I still have a full bag of my scraps. That didn't use anything. Sheesh. I suppose maybe an inch's worth on top, but I could probably make 4 more blocks out of what I got in here. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll have, maybe my quilt will be like 10 blocks by 11 blocks or something. All right, there we go. Yeah, scrappy quilt, a whole new reading. I mean, this would be so fun for a whole quilt though, actually, especially if you do it squares like this, because you'll have the crazy, but then the act of having it squares will give it kind of a uniform grid look at the same time. That would be pretty fun, actually. It'd be pretty stiff, but it'd be kind of fun. So, all right, I'm gonna grab a piece of my sticky Fabrisolvi here. So, all right, here it is. It is, the Fabrisolvi is the side that's rough. The smooth side is just the paper backing. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut a little edge off of here just because there's a little bit more than I need. And, you know, I don't want to waste any of my fabric slices. So I'm just going to basically kind of cut this into a square. I'm just going to cut this little, it's not quite a square, but close enough. This, you know, even though this is a little piece, I'll be able to use it somewhere else, so I'm not worried. Okay, so I am going to take the back off of the fabric solving. I think it'll be a little tricky. It's basically a sticker. Right, usually I can get it from a different side. Alright, we'll just work at it. There we go. There's a little edge starting. Fingernail in there. Alright, see, there you go. It just peels right off like a sticker. So paper backing we don't need anymore. That can just put to the side. And so here is the fabric solving. This side is sticky. So we're just going to place this over our little design that we got going on here. Oh, I want to make sure that this kind of stays flat. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. I guess I'll just, here we'll start from this side. Usually I just plop this on, but I do kind of want that square flat. Oops, flipping stuff around. There, that kind of worked. Alright, it's a wonky square, but that's kind of fun. So then just press this down. It's just like a sticker. This is going to hold everything in place while we sew. Alright, so now we sew. I'm going to start by just kind of stitching around the outside just to kind of give the whole thing a general, you know, holding it in. So this doesn't pop up and it all comes out. I'm just going to stitch kind of around the edge. And then all we're going to do is just stitch back and forth, just random, all over the place. Maybe I'll do some zigzag stitches, whatever. All we're doing is trying to get a densely stitched area, because the more stitches we have, the better it's going to hold down all our crazy scraps, right? So we're going to just hang out by the machine then. I'm going to get the reverse going back and forth. Alrighty. Alright, so like I said, first I'm going to just go around the edge just to kind of make me feel a little bit more comfortable about holding it down. Let's see if we can get a little bit in focus there. Alright. Where's the other edge of the thread? There we go. Alright. This again is just to kind of get it in place. And we're going to go back and forth over this, so it's not going to, I'm not going straight, I'm not worrying about that, I'm not worrying that I'm not all the way to the edge, I'm just kind of basting it, I guess, sort of, but with stitches that will stay there. Alright, now I'm just going to kind of go all over the place. So I'm just going to, let's just pivot. I think I'm going to just go back and forth with a zigzag, or with the reverse. Oh, I think this would be an absolute perfect way to practice free motion. I think it'd be great. And actually, the fabric's a little thicker too. Yeah, I'm just using regular thread. I mean, I could have picked a fun color. I could have picked like you know, I don't know. I could have picked a thick thread too, and it would be kind of more visible. But no, I'm just doing kind of a neutral thread. I think you can do whatever you want. But this is a couple layers of stuff, you know. So we have our back fabric, the Fabricelli and all the fabric underneath, so I think it would feel a whole lot, it'd feel more close to quilting too. So I think it'd definitely be a great idea for practicing quilting. And I think next time I do this, I'll get my darning foot out and give it a go. Move this back a little. You can crisscross too. I mean, I don't have to be going in that direction. I'm just doing whatever. You know, in theory, you can use this in a quilt you're washing. We're gonna put so many stitches in here that everything should be held down. I mean, it is gonna be raw edge. So, you know, if you wash it, your raw edges are gonna get softer and more frayed, but you know, that sometimes looks fun. You know, but you know, raw edge applique, I don't see it being much different than that. The trick is to really densely stitch it, so all the little pieces are held down. Yeah, this would be a perfect way to practice practice quilting, because then you still get a usable thing when you're done, even if, you know, you don't do it well, you know? So we're gonna just hang out here and do this for a while. Sorry, it's probably pretty loud with the machine. And I'm going totally random. I'm just kind of looking to make sure I'm hitting everything quite a bit. Let's get this area. I am using a walking foot. I don't know if you really need to. This is just what I've had on my machine for all of the Splendid Sampler, so I don't know. Still using it. I suppose a walking foot might make this easier. Whatever works best for you. Also cut. Oh yeah, totally. That's what I think would be really, really fun for this. Oh yeah, for that first block, that would be so cute. Yeah, so I'm cutting mine in a 6.5 inch by 6.5 inch square, but yeah, you could cut this into whatever you like, because there's going to be so many stitches in here that it should. Yeah, make sure you have a full bobbin. Exactly. So we'll see. Hopefully my bobbin's full enough. That'd be sad. I think we recently filled it. Okay, but now I'm paranoid. Seems to still be stitching, so I'm thinking we still have bobbin. So some places I can tell I've stitched a lot down, but other places I can still tell that there's pretty wide open spaces. So I'm just starting to just go around and around, see what I can stitch. kind of relaxing. It's a little meditative. Yep, I am using the sticky Fabricelli on top of it. So what we're doing is we're stitching it all down really densely, and then we will be dissolving the sticky Fabricelli in a few minutes here. Once I make sure I get my stitches dense enough. I've been neglecting the edges a little bit, so I want to make sure those are down too. Alright, let's kind of see where we're at here. Alright. It looks like I have some little pockets here. Have you used this very often in crafting? I haven't. This is actually this one right here, the little bumblebee. This is actually the first time I did it. So this is maybe the second or third time I'm doing this. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's got a lot of potential for different things. So, all right, I'm just kind of doing a check over this. I for sure have some areas here that aren't stitched at all, so I'm gonna stitch here. All of this looks pretty good. And then over here, I think I could zigzag a little bit more. So just a little bit more here and a little bit more here, and maybe right here a little bit, and then I think we're plenty good. So let's just do those two things. That's awesome. Yeah, if you guys do anything with this, I'd love if you just sent me an email and showed me. That'd be awesome. You can just email me at info@penguinandfish. So I'm seeing, now that I'm stitching again, I'm seeing more space, more spots like on these edges and stuff. Remember, you do want a lot of stitches because this is what's holding down all the scraps, and the scraps, you know, are crazy and all over the place. There's a few places yet. Ooh, quilt labels. You know what? Oh, that just gave me you know, you could even do just a frame, like cut out a rectangle and then cut out the inner rectangle. That would be really cute too. A frame of a label. Or do it like the bee here, like embroider your label and then just do this on the edge and then cut it all out as one piece. That'd be a way to do it too. I love that idea. Yeah, right in the center. That'd be a good idea for this quilt, actually. Maybe I'll do that for this one. With some of my Splendid Sampler scraps. Alright, let's take another look. I think we might be pretty good here. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh wait, maybe there's a little area over here. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna go down this stretch here quick. A few times. All right, I think that's plenty good. I am going to just let's get it to an end. There we go. Alrighty, I'm gonna trim that and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, I get the thread on sale, really. All right. Yeah, we did use a lot of thread. I'm just gonna trim that end off. Little end of thread. And where we started was right here. So let's trim that too. Okay, so this is what we got now. I'm gonna scooch over here again. I'll show you how dense. So it's pretty stiff because of all the stitching, but again, I think it's still usable as a block. So here we are. This is kind of how densely I stitch it. Because if you remember, I had a lot of little, like that bird nest type stuff. Oh yeah, like here, just a lot of tiny bits. So I want to make sure that I got all of that down, you know? So lots of stitching. So here we are. So now we are ready to do the Fabrisolve part of it. Let me just make some space here. So you can take off the Fabrisolve. It comes off in water. It kind of flakes off. So I'll show you that process right now. What I do when I'm periscoping here, I just get a couple bowls of water. One bowl that we do. Oh yeah, sure. I'll flip it around. One bowl, I get the process started, and when that gets too dirty, I go to a cleaner bowl. You can actually just do this over the sink too, but I think maybe the bowl probably uses a little less water. So here's the back. Kind of crazy. Now, actually, I think you could probably lay down a piece of sticky Fabrisolve with the sticky side up, then put all your fabric scraps right on the sticky Fabrisolve, and then put another sticky Fabrisolve on the top. And then your back would just be scraps too, so it would kind of be like reversible. I think though with the backing fabric, it's just gonna add that much more stability to your whole piece, I think. So all right, I am going to get my bowls of water. I have them right over here. Okay, here is the first one. I'm gonna scooch my machine out of the way a little. And let me just get the other one so I have it on standby. Wash better on a quilt with backing too. Yeah. Exactly. So, all right, here's my second. Okay, so I'm going to, I'm kind of tempted. I think I might trim this extra fabric off quick first. Just because I don't need all that excess hiding in the water here. So let's just scooch this out of the way. I'm just gonna cut off the edge. I'm not cutting it my perfect 6.5 inch. I'm just kind of cutting it so it's down to the Fabrisolve edge, just really roughly. So technically I'm making more scraps that I could use for another one of these. All right, so there we go. I just cut down the edge a little bit. So I'm going to just place this in the water. And I'm going to gently just start agitating it. And by that, I just mean kind of rubbing up against it. It feels a little, not slimy, but you can feel that it's there. And you'll start to see it flaking off in a little bit here after it gets going a little bit. And you can actually just let it soak in the water for a while too, and that will do, I think, the same thing basically. We might lose a couple little scraps as we go. What about using gauze or light interfacing as the back fabric? That's a great idea. I just add anything that's not like stretchy, really, I suppose. Gauze would be a great idea. Yeah, or like interface something. That would definitely make it less thick, because I mean my muslin that I'm using is pretty thick, and it's just because that's what I have. But yeah, I think yeah, gauze would be great. So let's see if I can see any. That's funny. I don't have usually I can see it all flaking off quite a bit, but I think because we sewed it down quite a bit, it's not flaking off in big chunks. Yeah, cheesecloth maybe. I don't know. I think cheesecloth maybe isn't sturdy enough. I like this fabric because it's solid and it's not gonna stretch like on the bias or anything while I'm stitching it. So I'm starting to feel less and less of the Fabrisolve on here. So we're just gonna hang out here for 5 minutes or so. 5 to 10 minutes you can be doing this. And I'm just really kind of rubbing on it. Oh yeah, so now we can start to see what it looks like. I mean, without the Fabrisolve, isn't that fun? Like it's a pile of crazy. But once we cut it down and everything, it's just gonna be so neat. So we're gonna actually iron this right away. We are not gonna let this air dry. We are going to press it, and the act of pressing is gonna kind of suck the water out of it. And that's why I have a fluffy white towel up here, and that's gonna the water from here is gonna soak up into that quite a bit. We'll have to keep moving it around because there's a bunch of water here, and it'll probably air dry a little, but for the most part, it's gonna be dry. I love that kind of green in there. You still feel Fabrisolve on here, and usually you'll be able to see it come up in the water. It'll like flake off in the water. You can kind of see it. Like my water's just getting a little muddier, really, a little foggy, and that's from the Fabrisolve. But I do want to make sure that it's all off. Like I can definitely feel the sliminess of it in some places yet. I don't want that at all. Ooh, a bag would be fun. Yeah, this would actually be a really sturdy fabric for a bag, with all this layers of fabric. That would be fun. Then you could cut out the design of or draw out the bag layout on the fabric first, and then just stitch all of it on top. So I can still feel some Fabrisolve. I'm probably going to switch to my cleaner water in a few moments here. Once I can't feel a lot of Fabrisolve on here anymore, I'll switch to the cleaner water. You can still feel a little bit here. Yeah, look, it's really kind of gooey. Weird, it's usually not that gooey. Usually it flakes, it's more flaky. I don't know, I just opened a new pack. Maybe it's a little different. But now it's kind of like, oh yeah, look, oh, it's this weird like slimy goo. It's usually not quite like that. Oh, for funny. I'm not used to it like that. Wow, it's really slimy. All right, I'm going to switch to the cleaner water. So I'm just going to put this to the side. There, you can see a lot of that Fabrisolve. Yours has been slimy? Mine was like that when you used it for the garden pet bomb. Interesting. This is the first time it's been this slimy. Usually it kind of flakes off in a bunch of little flakes for me. Hold on. I wonder if they changed their formula a little bit. But yeah, it used to kind of, like when we're done with, maybe the weather, that could be too. sometimes when, you know, when we're done with the paper piecing and we have all those like tiny little itty bitty tiny pieces, that's usually how it comes off. It's like little flakes of stuff, and you can see it floating in the water. It's not usually like weird slime like that. At least not for me. I mean, you know, we're getting the same results, so it doesn't really matter. It was just kind of surprised me a little. All right, I am not really feeling much on here anymore, so this is just kind of like a rinse. Rinsing it before we press it. Okay, just want to make sure I'm going to be pressing on the back, not the front, so I just want to make sure that I'm not feeling any of the goo. Okay, I can still feel a little bit here, I think. I'm getting water everywhere. All right, yeah, there's just some weird, super snotty. Oh, like a koi fish pond, yeah. I do like the little squares that are kind of popping in there. All right, I think. Oh, you have it gumming up the needle? I've only had that happen once or twice, and I think it might be a humidity thing. It seemed to take a while to get off. Yeah, sometimes it can take a little while to take off. You do have to be a little patient with taking it off, the Fabrisolvi. Yeah, there's some goo from here yet. Yeah, I don't know. This is the first time it's been gooey for me. All right, I think we're pretty good here though now. So I'm going to put this on the iron. So let me just move this out of the way and I'll bring the iron forward. Try out my space a little bit here. Okay, so I don't want to drop my iron on the floor. Okay, so I have a dry, fluffy towel here. So to kind of protect the stitches, I'm going to put it face down on the iron. I just want to make sure I don't feel any of that goo on the back of here. I think we're pretty good. All right, so now we're just going to press, and I think my iron's probably turned itself off, but it'll get going again. And we're really pressing here because we are kind of pressing all the water out of the back of this. We're getting it nice and flat and pressing it at the same and getting the water out of it at the same time. You'll start to see the edges get a little lighter, and that means it's drying out. And then we'll have to move the fabric or the towel underneath it a little bit because this part's going to get too wet, this part of the towel, because all this water is going to go in it. Your new package gets slimy too. Started using running water instead of the bowl. You know what? Maybe that's what I'll start. Well, I mean, you know, I only do this on Periscope really now, so I'll probably still use the bowl. But that's interesting. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna write them and see what they have to say about it. See if they change things up. But yeah, I just opened a new package too, so this is a new package. So who knows? Maybe the new stuff is a little different. But again, it's the same. We get the same effect when we're done, so that's good. Just another thing to get used to, I suppose. All right, but see here now, you can tell that my muslin's a little bit whiter. It's because that part's dry. So I'm gonna scooch down my towel because I think it's pretty wet right there. Ooh, see, I think we still might have some goo on here. That's not good. The Pellon brand is slimy. Yeah, we got a little bit on here. That's what I don't want. So I might, when we're done here, I might do this again. You know, it just might mean more soaking. Yeah, this is kind of tacky still. But you know what? I think as long as I don't have any on the back, we're going to be fine for now. But I'll probably soak this again. I just want to I'll finish this one just to show you guys how I'm doing it. But yeah, I think I'll just let this soak in water for a little bit longer, get some of the remaining gooiness off of there. Like I said, I've never had that experience before with the gooiness. Usually it just flakes off in little flakes, so I don't know. I'll send them an email, see what they say. I was going to send to put in the dishwasher. I'm not sure if that would quite work. All right, but see now all of it's getting much lighter, so we are definitely getting drier. But see how it's sticking to my towel? It's definitely got more of that Fabricelli on. But for our purposes, we're going to pretend it doesn't. So yeah, just take your time with dissolving the Fabricelli and just let it dissolve all the way. So I will, I'll put this back in the water when we're done here, but I'm going to just cut this out and we'll see what we got. So this is kind of what we got going on here, and you can see that it's all, pretty much all being held. Let me get in focus here. It's all being held because we have so many stitches in there. But yeah, I can feel a little bit of tackiness on it, yes. So just kind of fun. But the real fun part comes when you cut it to the right size, because then all of a sudden it looks like a block. So I'm going to cut mine. I'm going to cut it down, even though I'm going to throw it back in the water. So it kind of shrunk up a little too, just because this muslin shrinks a little, but I think we'll have plenty on the edge. And remember, I'm going to be sewing this into the quilt, so I just need like the quarter-inch seam allowance. There's so little negative space. It holds the solvi. I'm not quite sure what you're asking. So, all right, I am going to just trim this out. Oh, that the Fabricelli is getting stuck in all the spaces in the stitches. Yeah, so that's typical. That's what happens with when you do this with embroidery too. So the little extra agitation and stuff helps with that. And that's why, you know, I kind of like when it flakes off, because then you can kind of see when it's there or not. With this, when it turns to goo, it's hard to tell if it's still there. So I don't know. It's a little funny. All right, and one more. Oh, good. I'm glad you like this idea. I think I'm gonna make a few of these and add them to my quilt, my Splendid Sampler quilt, or maybe you know, maybe have, I kind of liked it this direction, like have a few of these as part of my blocks. Would this be thick enough to make hot pads or pot holders? I mean, I would, if you're gonna do that, I would kind of make this fabric first, and then I would sew it. So I would still put some batting and then maybe just sew a backing on it if I was going to do a hot pad holder. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Janet. Like one in each corner or something. I don't usually save the small scratch. I'm going to now. That's cool. Yeah, like I said, it did not use hardly any of my scraps up. I was hoping to get through this bag a little bit more, but nope. But that's good. I'll have a lot more to make more of. But look, isn't that fun? It's like abstract art. I kind of dig it. So yeah, so this is, I'm going to just throw this in with the rest of my blocks, and it's kind of like a little bonus block. But yeah, so again, this would be very fun to practice your stitching and stuff too. So that's it, guys. That's how you make your own fabric. There's so many possibilities with this. I definitely want to make more and give some a try. And again, you can you can leave a space open like this where I just did it around in a circle shape, and so that's another thing to do. Ooh, yeah, variegated thread. That would be so cute. Or, yeah, like a really bold, you could do like 12 weight floss or something like that. Oh, yeah, or a big wall hanging. You could cut letters out of this. Like, what if you did a bunch of these and then just cut letters and appliqued letters onto something? That would be so cute. You could do like a little coin purse or something. Like, look, pretend that's a bag. That would be cute. All right. Too many ideas. All right, guys, I'm going to flip you around and we will end it for the night. Hey there. So that was so fun. And that's just really quick, too. Sorry, guys, we're a little crooked. Let me show it to you. So here we go. Super fun. Yeah, and if you guys give this a try, I totally want to see it. I'd love to see what you make out of it. And, I mean, mine are just going to go in the Splendid Sampler, but I don't know, now I want to do letters and purses and stuff, too. So, all right, guys, I'm going to throw this back in my water, just some fresh water, because it is a little tacky, and then I'll do the pressing and stuff again here. But, yeah, that's the process. So we're going to get a new block tomorrow, so I hope you join me tomorrow for a new block day. And this will be, if you want to just see this again, it's going to be on YouTube tomorrow morning at Penguin and Fish Movies. So thanks again. I will see you tomorrow, guys.